We're back with our NBA predictions and best bets here for May 8th. One game today in the National Basketball Association, as it is an off day for the Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That series will continue tomorrow on Friday, as we've got them and the OKC Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. Today, though, Warriors Timberwolves game number 2, and an interesting one, right? Back at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. No Steph Curry tonight. Let's see how the Warriors respond. We'll talk about that game in full. But folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions and best bets going forward here through the 2025 NBA postseason. Some things to take care of real quickly. Why are the Indiana Pacers still plus 1,300 to win the NBA Finals? And why the Cleveland Cavaliers plus 850? And why the Boston Celtics still plus 330? So why the Knicks plus 1,000 at the same time? Does Vegas really think that the Cavs and Celtics are winning these series? I think it's probably because likeliness to beat OKC. In all fairness, I think that's kind of where we're at in the playoffs right now, considering the Thunder's 50-point victory yesterday against the Denver Nuggets. I think we can kind of all just, come to the conclusion that game 1 was kind of just a fluke. But yeah, really interesting stuff going on. And the Warriors are now plus 2,500 to win the NBA Finals, which I get, again, with the Steph Curry injury. Now, folks, before we get into the best bets, though, make sure to join us for MLB Best Bets that was posted earlier today. On Greedo Plays MMA, UFC 315 predictions, PFL Mana predictions, and PFL Europe predictions, all linked in the description down below. Go check out Greedo Plays. Go subscribe to Greedo Plays as well. Okay, so the one game today, Timberwolves Warriors. I'm going Timberwolves spread and Timberwolves money line. I don't know if you see any value in minus 550 for Minnesota, but I do expect Minnesota to take care of Golden State. Regardless of how you feel about this series and where it's going to go, I do think it's fairly, I think this is public, belief that the Wolves will win tonight. It's just a matter of how many points they will win by. And I know what you can bring up, Golden State won game 1 without Curry for most of the game. He didn't play the entire second half and most of the second quarter, which is fair. I will give you that. But at the same time, there's a problem with that. The Timberwolves, they weren't game planning for a Steph Curry-less Warriors team. And don't get me wrong, if the Wolves shot just a little bit better in game 1, they probably would have come back and won that game, right? The Wolves shot historically bad from the three-point line in that game, and they still only lost by 11 points. The Wolves were 5 for 29 from the three-point line. Anthony Edwards had 1 point until the third quarter, where eventually he broke out and scored 23. But yeah, it kind of just goes to show how the Wolves played in game 1. It was abysmal. They scored 11 points in the second quarter. They went into halftime with 31 points. That's not going to happen again. I mean, the Warriors basically played that thing. They dared everyone in Minnesota to shoot. They were in that 1-3-1 zone. They begged Julius Randle to shoot. They said, you know what, McDaniels, have your shot. And well, Julius Randle couldn't hit a three-pointer. Jaden McDaniels couldn't hit a three-pointer. Mike Conley couldn't either. Dante DiVincenzo had a bad game shooting, which I don't anticipate to happen again, or at least that badly, 1 for 7. And again, I just think the Wolves played a really bad game 1. That's going to happen. But on top of all of that, guys, if Steph Curry was healthy, I still pick the Timberwolves to win personally. Now, they do deal with the whole, Gobert and Draymond Green thing, and the Warriors, I think especially with Steph, this is where the Curry injury hurts them. Guys, with Steph on the court, they can easily just switch Rudy Gobert into Steph Curry. You bring the high pick and roll, you get that switch, and Curry basically just dances on Gobert because Rudy's a horrible defender of the three-point shot. And additionally, that's what Draymond Green would do to Rudy Gobert. The Timberwolves, when Draymond hit his 4 straight three-pointers in the second quarter as soon as Curry went out the game, the Timberwolves basically told Draymond, okay, you can have that shot. We don't think you're going to consistently hit it. And Draymond hit 4 in a row, obviously got his big moment. Ultimately, Draymond goes 4 for 10 from the three-point line. It is what it is. Good game for him. The thing is, Draymond, and we've always said this, now Draymond Green's going to have the confidence to keep shooting that shot. And now with Steph Curry out, I feel like Draymond's going to think, and the Warriors probably think because of how Draymond shot in that game, that, okay, he's a reliable threat from the three-point line. Now, Buddy Hield has been great, dating back to Game 7 of the first round against the Houston Rockets, where he scored 40. Today, or in Game 1 against the Wolves, he scores 24, and he goes 5 for 8 from the three-point line. Guys, there's going to come a day soon where Buddy Hield is not going to be Superman anymore. And so then what? Draymond Green said, we've seen Jimmy Butler carry, bad teams before. And I messed up that quote. I'm paraphrasing this, but obviously, right? The quote was along the lines, okay, Jimmy has brought teams to the finals before. He can carry the load while Steph's out. Okay, Jimmy Butler can take over, which is fair. Jimmy hasn't been great, though, since the injury that he suffered in, game 2 in Houston? Not to say he's been bad, but can Jimmy Butler take over a game and put a team on his back? I personally don't think so. I think if anything, if the Warriors are going to win, I kid you not, it's going to have to be off a 40-point night from Buddy Hield, where he just has one of those games where he doesn't miss. And on top of that, maybe Brandon Podziemski finally gets back on the right track. Podziemski hasn't been great dating back to the Houston series, and he went 1 for 7 from the field in Game 1 in Minnesota. Expect Kevon Looney to play a lot more minutes, right? And just the way that the Warriors are able to deal with the two bigs of Minnesota, you just put Looney in the game, and that's kind of how you deal with their size. Same if you put Kuminga in. I think Gary Payton probably just starts, if I'd assume. Maybe Kevon Looney, but I don't think they're going to start with multiple bigs, so they'll probably just start Gary Payton, which is fine, I guess. Expect to see some Pat Spencer minutes as well. But I do think, again, that the Warriors, a lot went their way in Game 1, except for the Steph Curry injury, obviously. Right? Draymond hitting those shots, Buddy Hield continuing to have a great night, and let's just be honest, or great series, or great playoffs. Let's just be honest, though, the Wolves' lack of shooting, and that's just basketball sometimes. Hell, look at the Boston Celtics, right? The way the Wolves shot in game number 1, that's just not going to benefit them at all. You can't win basketball games shooting that poorly, right? Dating back to Game 5 of the first round against the Lakers, where somehow they still won, obviously, right? I mean, the last 2 games have been horrible shooting for the Wolves, just like the Boston Celtics against the New York Knicks right now. And I'll get to that maybe a little bit later. I don't know. I'll very briefly get into that at the end of the video. But I think the Wolves will win fairly easily tonight. I'd expect Anthony Edwards to have a much better night. The Wolves, again, are preparing now for a Warriors team without Steph Curry. So immediately, again, that changes things. Not to the point of, you look at Game 1 and, the Wolves still lost when Curry wasn't on the court. That's fair. But now you've had a whole day off, and the Wolves have been preparing for a Steph Curry-less Warriors team. And they will get that not just tonight, not just in Game 3, but likely in Game 4 as well. I think the quickest Steph Curry returns is Game number 5. And at what capacity will they have Steph Curry? Look back to the OG Anunoby injury last year in the Eastern Conference semifinals with the Knicks and Pacers. Look how Anunoby tried to play that Game 7 at the Garden, and my goodness, he hits a 3 and he's stumbling and bumbling back to the other side of the court to play defense. And that's OG Anunoby, who, again, they could kind of get by with the Knicks could, because he's not, he can kind of just be a 3-and-D guy and just stick him against, a Pacers player in the corner, obviously. I believe that was Aaron Nesmith last year, if I'm not mistaken. You can't really do that with Steph Curry. Yeah, you can stick him on a corner guy defensively, but offensively, Steph Curry needs to be Steph Curry. I guess he could just sit and be a corner guy, but for Steph Curry to play the way that we know him to play, he needs to be 100%. And let's just be honest, guys. Stephen Curry's not going to be at 100% with the hamstring injury. He's just not going to be for the rest of the playoffs. That's why, again, the Warriors they do have the longest odds to win the NBA championship at plus 2,500. It's because this is not long-term sustainable, right? You even look at the next round. If somehow Denver gets in, Denver's going to beat Golden State, and the Thunder will beat this team in 4 games. Let's just be honest. The Thunder will attack Steph Curry the entire game if he's back. If not, I just don't think I don't think that series would be competitive at all. Personally, I still think the Wolves are winning this series. I'm going to go Wolves in 6 still. Maybe 7, but I think Wolves in 6. I just don't know how healthy Steph Curry is going to be. I think the series is going to be 2-2 going back to Minnesota in Game 5, and then I think from there the Timberwolves do win Games 5 and 6. Tonight, I think they win. I think Julius Randle is a better night shooting. I think just as a whole, the Timberwolves shoot a lot better. I think, again, yes, they face a problem with the Rudy Gobert switch for the 3 because he just does not defend 3-point shooters all that well. But again, the Warriors, I don't know if they're going to be able to shoot the same way they have been shooting. And you take away Steph Curry from this lineup, okay, right? Buddy Hield's going to have to be amazing. Will he be? I don't know. And one more thing about Draymond Green. I was watching Dom2K. YouTuber, about his take on this game, and I'll watch Kenny Beecham and Dom2K a lot. Those are the guys I watch for NBA media, at least on YouTube. I get more out of watching those guys on YouTube than I do watching Inside the NBA, obviously, right? Because that's just entertainment at the end of the day. But the thing about Draymond Green is, him hitting those 4 3-pointers, in game one, that's great. But and the way I heard it, and I'll state it, is that's a luxury, right? That's great to have, but that's not something you're relying to get every single game. But when you get it, it's great, adding on top of the points that Hield scoring, and say, again, a healthy Steph Curry is going to score. Sure, Draymond Green sinking 4 3-pointers is amazing. That's a luxury that you are afforded in that spot. But now, not only is Draymond going to think that's a given, that's something that he's going to have to do, and he's something that he's going to continue to attempt to do, but for the Warriors to win on the road, especially in Minnesota, without Steph Curry, that's something that needs to fall. And if we're banking on Draymond Green to consistently hit 3-pointers and at least give us, 12 points from 3-pointers in a basketball game, the Warriors are not going to be successful and the Warriors are not going to win. It's as simple as that. It really is. So that's my take about Draymond Green. I look at the Timberwolves, bad game 1, really a bad game 5 against the Lakers, but Rudy Gobert had his game in game 5, whatever, right? Eliminating Los Angeles. I just feel like the Wolves will be better shooting this time around. I think they're going to be better because Steph's obviously not on the court. I think that's going to kind of rejuvenate this Timberwolves team. You are looking at, playing this Warriors squad. They're not healthy, and you likely don't have to play, a former multiple-time MVP for 3 straight games. I think the Wolves win this game. I think they have confidence now. I think they will. I think DiVincenzo has a better night shooting. I think Ant has a better night shooting. Jaden McDaniels and Julius Randle. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves will win game number 2. And I think they're going to blow out the Golden State Warriors as well. So minus 10.5. I don't know if it's going to be Thunder-type blowout, but I think the Timberwolves win. And ultimately, I do think as of now, I think they're going to win the series. But guys, let's have a serious conversation. I think the Indiana Pacers are going to the NBA Finals. It's something I've kind of been talking about for a while. I've never outright said they were going to go to the finals because I've always thought, Boston's a really tough test for them. Because last year, very competitive 4-game series, right? For as long as it lasted, every game was tight. But ultimately, the Celtics won in the fourth quarter every single game of the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And I just didn't know if the Pacers were going to be able to get over that hump this year. Well, they probably won't have to do that now. They're probably getting the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Pacers are winning that, guys. I think we're looking at a Pacers-Thunder NBA Finals. I've joked about that a lot this season. That, and I've always thrown the Pacers into the contender group. Like, Cavs, Celtics, and Pacers. I've included the Pacers more than the Knicks in those conversations all year long. And it's always, I've seen the comments. You guys have laughed at me a lot. Look now. I'm just saying we're going to have a lot more about that tomorrow, obviously. Pacers, Cavs. Game number 3, and that's a huge game. Every game's huge, but I'll tell you why. Especially that's huge tomorrow. Pacers plus 120. Take it. It was minus 105 yesterday, plus 100 yesterday. It's plus 120 now. Money's going on the Cavs. Take Indiana while you can before that line goes back to even. I think it's going to. Anyways, I think the Pacers are going to the NBA Finals. And I look at the Thunder yesterday and I say, okay, this is why this is the best team in the league. And I'm just going to be honest. Right now, out the 8 teams remaining, it feels like it's the Thunder and then everybody else. It would not feel this way if the Boston Celtics were down 2-0, and if the Boston Celtics could hit a shot at the end of the fourth quarter or just in the fourth quarter. But here we are. And I don't think the Celtics are coming back. I'm going to be honest. I think the Knicks are winning that in 6. I still think the Pacers are sweeping the Cavs. And I think the Thunder are going to win in either 5 or 6 games. And here, we're taking Minnesota in either 6 or 7. Anyways, that'll do it for our NBA best bets here today. On May 8th, we are taking Timberwolves to win the game and to cover the 10.5 without Steph Curry on the court for the Golden State Warriors. So folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for, again, Cavs Pacers Game 3 and Thunder Nuggets Game 3 as well. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more, and Mamba forever.